Keith Millen, longest pre-season in your life?
Yes.
My life?
Yes, no, it has been. It's, 3 months is the normal, which is long, but for 5.5 months it's been tough at times. Probably the hardest period was when we didn't know when the season was going to start. So we couldn't really plan the training weeks until we got the actual start date. So once we got the start date, then we was okay. But there was probably 4-6 weeks where we was just training just for the sake of training almost. So we've tried to get the balance right of when to work and when to rest, because it's important tomorrow that we feel fresh and sharp rather than just continue training every week after week. You can get a little bit flat. So I think it's important that we try to keep them as fresh as possible. So we've given days off at times, we've given weekends off at times, and then when we've worked, we've trained hard. So they're in much better shape now than they were in March when we had the Swedish Cup. I mean, we were a completely different outfit, I think. We got everyone fit, which is fantastic. Some are fitter than others, but they're all training. Whereas in March, with the illness and injuries we had, we was nowhere near full strength. So in a way, the break, I think, has actually helped us in that respect.
We haven't played any real games in like 2 months. What can we expect from the team?
Well, we've tried to replicate as much as we can playing a proper game. We've gone to Ullevi Stadium 3 times to play games, but when you're playing amongst yourselves, it's not the same. It's difficult to actually coach, because you can have one team that's playing really well, so from an attacking point of view you're happy, but then when you look at the other team, which is your players as well, from a defensive point of view, you're not so happy. So it's a difficult situation, but we feel that we've got enough game time into them. They're not all going to last 90 minutes, but it's going to be the same for every team. I mean, the substitutions are going to be really important, certainly for the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. So normally I would say 5 subs is not a good idea, because I think it can disrupt the game. But I think the way things are, I think it's a good decision to have the option of 5 subs. So that's why it's been so important that the squad's fit, that I've got good options on the bench, because I think that can have a real bearing on the game.
Yeah, compared to the Swedish Cup, almost everyone is fit now. Is that right?
Yeah.
Only Arvid.
Arvid's long term, obviously, but all the, if you like, shorter term injuries, they're all fine now. No illness, which has been good. I mean, we've tried to be careful. We've tried to listen to the recommendations from the government. Certainly for the first 4 weeks in April, we trained in small groups. We had no contact. We tried to minimise the risk of the virus, and it looks like at the moment we're all like, obviously it's still out there, and we have to be aware of that, and we have to be very careful on match days now. I mean, the procedure and the process that's in place is there for a reason, so we have to make sure that we adhere to them. We need to make sure we fill out the necessary documents and just be careful, really, because we don't want anyone sort of spreading or catching the virus. So but I think the focus now is on the football, and that's really where you want it to be.
We're facing Ljungskile, new team in Superettan. What do you know about them?
Not enough, but then probably you could say the same for every team, because there's not that many recent games to scout. So we've tried to look back on their previous games. We do know they're a team that got promoted, and normally when teams get promoted at the start of the season, there's a lot of excitement that's carried on from the season before. So I would imagine they'll be really looking forward to the game. It's their first home game in this league, so we're expecting a tough game, one that I expect to be full of energy from them. And we've got to make sure we're ready and we match that, and then it's more about what we do that I'll be looking for, and can we then dominate the game in the way we want to dominate. But we have to respect every opposition. But Ljungskile will be, I'm sure, really ready and up for the game, so we've got to make sure we are.
Last question, what do you want to see from the team tomorrow?
Well, it's always about performance. I mean, of course, the idea is to win the game. We've not set any targets apart from trying to win the next football match. And that's all you can do. I mean, and if you win every game, you're going to have a successful season, aren't you? Yeah. So it's more about making sure we do the right things, because you can't control sometimes the result. You can play really well for 89 minutes and something goes wrong for 1 minute and you can lose the game. So I'm looking at obviously the fitness of the players. We're going to have to be very sensible with the substitutions because they're not all 90 minutes fit, which is fine. And then I'm looking at all the stuff we've been working on in training. Can you produce that? And can you produce your best game? We're all very excited because I think we've got a lot of exciting talent, and we've not really seen them all together yet. So I'm really looking forward to seeing us, and hopefully we can put a good performance on for the fans, because obviously them not being there again is something different for us, isn't it? So we have to try and cope with that, but like always we try and produce a performance that the fans are going to enjoy watching.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good luck tomorrow.
No problem.